Hi everyone, I am here with our math for today. We are going to be working on topic 15, lesson 3, again with our halves and fourths. We are going to be working on starting with page 830. So go ahead and get your packets out. If you need to, you can pause the video to get yourself ready. I am going to go ahead and share our video. Okay. Here it is. All right, here we go.
Pizzas come in different sizes, but they are usually sliced in wedges through the middle. They can be sliced into different numbers of shares. These pizzas are the same size. This pizza is cut into 4 equal shares. Each share is 1/4 of the whole. This pizza is cut into 2 equal shares. Each share is 1/2 of the whole. How many fourths make one whole?
How many pieces of a fourth make a whole pizza?
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 fourths make one whole. How many halves make one whole?
How many pieces are there to make a whole pizza when it's just cut in half?
1, 2. 2 halves make one whole. If you were very hungry, would you want a piece of the pizza that is cut into halves or fourths? Why?
All right, so I'm going to skip the try it, but it says if you were very hungry, would you want a piece of the pizza that is cut into halves or fourths, and why? So think that you haven't had any food in like 3 days and you're so hungry, right? You just need to eat something. So would you take one slice from this pizza? You would take one of the fourths or 1/4 of this pizza? Or would you take 1/2 of this pizza? If I was really hungry, I would take a slice from this pizza because it is a half. So this pizza has more for me to eat than this little slice, 1/4. So let's see what our robot has to say.
You would want a piece of the pizza that is cut into halves. A half would be larger than a fourth. The pizza with fourths has smaller shares. The pizza with halves has fewer shares.
So this pizza is cut into fourths or quarters. And even though this one has more shares, you could share with more people, like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Your pieces are going to be smaller, so you can share with more people, but you're going to eat less. This pizza, you can only share with 1, 2 people, but you're going to eat a lot more.
If you had to share a pizza with 3 other people, would you cut the pizza into halves or fourths?
So think about
Select
this.
your answer.
If you had yourself and 3 other people, would you cut the pizza into halves or fourths? So I'm going to stop my share really fast. So if you had yourself, your mom, your dad, and a friend. So you, mom, dad, and a friend. There's 4 people that need to eat pizza. Would you cut it into a half or into fourths? Let me go ahead and share my screen one more time with you. So if I have 4 people, I have me, mom, dad, and a friend. So 4 people that need to eat. We're all hungry. Would we split it into fourths like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, where there's 4 slices of pizza, or would we split it into halves where there's only 1, 2 slices of pizza? We would split it into fourths. So each person gets
You would cut the pizza into fourths. That is the only way you would have enough for everyone to have a piece.
Now you have seen how halves and fourths are related.
All right. So go ahead and get your paper out. We are working on page 830 right now to start with. We are working on topic 15, lesson 3. So if you don't have this, go ahead and pause the video and go get it. I am going to start, so up here, like every week, it's just going over what the video showed us. We are going to skip that and go ahead and go on to number 1. So our directions say, circle the shape that has more equal shares and put an X on the shape that has larger equal shares. So number 1, we have one that says fourths and one that says halves. So the first part of our direction says circle the shares that, circle the shape that has more equal shares. So we're going to circle the one that has more shares. So if we look at the one that's cut in fourths, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 shares. Here, our square only has 1, 2. So this one has more. So we're going to circle that one because that one is cut into fourths. So that one could feed 4 people. Then the next part of our direction says put an X on the shape that has larger equal shares. So this one only has 2 shares, right? 1, 2, but they're bigger. So this one you could only share with 2 people, but you're going to eat a lot more, right? Because they're bigger shares. So we're going to put an X on that one. All right. Now, I would like you guys to go ahead and do number 2, 3, and 4 when we finish this video on your own time. I am going to go ahead and flip over to page 831. And I'm going to go ahead and let you guys do number 5, 6, and 7 on your own time. And we are going to go ahead and skip on to number 8. So I'm going to read number 8 to you. It says, Joanne cuts a rectangle into 2 equal shares. Then she cuts each share in half. How many equal shares are there now? What are these shares called? Use words or pictures to explain. So we're going to use this box right here. In the first part it says, Joanne cuts a rectangle into 2 equal shares. So we're going to cut our rectangle into 2 equal shares. So I'm going to do that by cutting it right down the middle. So now I have 1, 2. I have 2 equal shares. Okay, the next part of our problem says, then she cuts each share in half. So I already have 2 equal shares. Now I'm going to cut them in half again. So now I'm going to draw a line through those ones. Now I have this box. Now it says, how many equal shares are there now? So first we had 2, and then we cut those ones in half. Now how many equal shares do we have? We have 4. So we're going to write down here, there are 4 equal shares. There are 4 equal shares. So we could share with 4 people. So go ahead and write, there are 4 equal shares. Don't forget your capital or your periods, please. Okay, if you need more time writing, go ahead and pause the video. The next part says, what are these shares called? So when we have 4 shares, what is that called? Remember, it was that word that started with the number 4, because this one, it has 4 parts, so it's called 4. These shares are called fourths. Remember, it starts with 4, just like there's 4 parts, so they're called fourths. So we're going to write these shares are called fourths. And I'm going to put a comma because I'm not done with my writing. These shares are called fourths. But there was also another name that I could use for fourths. Does anyone remember? It was kind of a harder word. But when there's 4 of something, what do we call them? It starts with core. What do we call them? It's another word for fourths. Does anyone remember? Quarters. So we are going to write, so if we wrote this, these shares are called fourths, and then we're going to write or quarters, because you could call it a quarter or fourths. They mean the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and write or quarters. All right. These shares are called fourths or quarters. And if you need more time writing, please go ahead and pause the video so you can finish writing. I am going to go ahead and just go boom with my paper, and I am going to be on page 832 with number 9. Everyone get to number 9. So number 9 right here, it says, Steve wants to cut a pan of cornbread into equal shares. Will the shares be larger if he cuts the cornbread into halves or into fourths? Use the picture to help you solve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw one more. So we have a picture right here of our cornbread. I'm going to draw one more picture just so I can see each way of solving this problem. So just like that, I just drew another square. So now I have 2 squares. So the first part says, Steve wants to cut a pan of cornbread into equal shares. Will the shares be larger if he cuts the cornbread into halves? So the first part says halves. So the first one he cuts into a half. So you could either cut it down this way or cut it down this way. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to cut mine down all the way down the middle. And I'm going to use my picture first. So I cut it into halves. So now we have 2 pieces. So it said, will the share be larger if he cuts the cornbread into halves, just like we did right here, or into fourths? So now I'm going to make this one into fourths. So see why I did two pictures, so I could see halves and fourths. So I'm going to cut this one into fourths, and to make something into fourths, you're going to make it into a half. So I just made it into a half, and then you're going to make it into a half again. So now I'm going to take these and I'm going to cut it this way. So now I have fourths. So here I have half, 1, 2, and here I have fourths, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now our question is, will the shares be larger if he cuts the cornbread into a half or a fourth? Use the picture to help you solve. So our answer says the larger the larger shares will be, is it going to be halves or fourths? So this one has more shares. You can share with more people, but this one, which is bigger? So just like our pizza, if we were really, really hungry, which one would we take a bite of? Would we take a piece from this cornbread, or would we take a piece from this cornbread? Which one would be bigger? So let's see, if I took one piece of this one, I'm going to color it in so you guys can see. So I ate this piece. Now I'm going to take a piece from here, and I'm going to color this one in to show you guys. Which one is bigger piece? Which one am I going to eat more? Am I going to eat more of the fourths, or am I going to eat more of the half? The half, because this is so much bigger. So right here, we are going to write the larger shares will be halves. And we are going to go ahead and just write halves because that one is bigger. If we were really hungry, we would eat from here. Go ahead and write halves. All right, number 10. You may pause the video if you need to, but we are moving on to number 10. All right, it says Burke and Alicia each have a sheet of paper. Ooh, they each have a sheet of paper. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw their sheets of paper. And we have and Alicia. Okay, just like that. I have Burke and Alicia. So if you want to go ahead and draw their pieces of paper and write their names so we know which one is which, you may pause the video and go ahead and do that. So it says Burke and Alicia each have a sheet of paper. Okay, we drew that. Both sheets are the same size. Okay, both sheets are the same size. Burke uses 1/2 of his sheet. So here's Burke, and it says half, 1/2. So we need to cut this paper in half. So I'm going to go ahead and cut his paper in half. And it says Burke uses 1/2 of his sheet. So here we have half. We have 1, 2, and he only uses 1. So I'm going to color in 1. He used this part. He used that part. Okay, now on to Alicia. Alicia uses 2/4. Oh, hers are cut into fourths. So we need to cut ours into fourths. So remember, fourths is 4 parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in half, just like this. And then you're going to add one more line here and one more line here. And that's going to give us 4 parts. So just like this. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are cut into fourths. So again, it says Alicia uses 2 of these, 2/4. So we have our fourths, 1, 2, 3, 4, and she uses 2. So we're going to color in that one and that one, 2 parts of it. So we have 1, and then we have 2. So she used 2. All right. Alicia says that they used equal amounts of paper. Is she correct? Explain your answer. You can draw a picture to help. So here's our picture that we're drawing. So did they use the same amount? Their pictures are the same. Their papers are the same size. Burke used 1 of the halves, and Alicia used 2 of the fourths. Does it look like they used the same amount? Is she correct? Yes, she did. She used this top half, just like Burke used this top half. So we're going to write yes. Yes, and then we're going to say why. It says explain your answer. So first, we're going to write yes, just like that. And then we're going to write her paper is divided. It was split up. Is divided into Was her paper divided into smaller shares or bigger shares? Here's her paper. Hers was split up into smaller shares. So we're going to write into smaller shares. And I will go ahead and show you my paper so you can write this down. So yes, her paper is divided into smaller shares. So that is how we know. And we can see with our picture that she used the same amount as Burke. So if you need more time writing your answer, go ahead and pause the video. I am going to move on to number 11, last one. So it says Joey has 2 circles of the same size. So I'm going to go ahead and draw 2 circles. I like to draw because it helps me see better. So here I have my 2 circles. Okay. Joey has 2 circles of the same size. He cuts one into halves. How do I cut into halves again? Just right down the middle. So I'm going to take my first circle and I'm going to cut it into halves right down the middle. Just like that. And the other circle is cut into fourths. Now remember, fourths means there's 4 parts. So we cut it into half. Oops, right down the middle. Here we only have 2 halves, so then we're going to cut it one more time. And I didn't put mine right down the middle, but you have to pretend that these are equal. Okay, so we have one that's cut into half and one that's cut into fourths. Which words describe how the halves are compared to the fourths? So if we look right here, it says the halves are smaller, but you get more. So let's look. Oops. Is my half smaller, but I get more than my fourth? No, these halves aren't smaller. They're bigger than this, so that one can't be right. So I'm going to cross that one off. I know that's not my answer. B says it's smaller and you get less. Are these smaller pieces than this and I get less? No, we know that these pieces are bigger than these, so that's not right. So we're going to cross this one off. C says this one is larger. Is this one larger? Which words describe how the halves compare to the fourths? Okay, so C, sorry, I had to reread my question. C says this one is larger than this, that's right. But then it says that this, you get more than the half. Is that true? Yeah, with this one, you get more than this. Or sorry, this one, you get more than this, right? Because if we were to have half of this and one piece of this, we don't get more here, we get more here. So that one's wrong because even though this part is larger, it's saying that you get more from this piece of pizza than this one. Now remember, we said if we were really, really hungry, we would take a piece of pizza from this pizza because we would get more. So you don't get more from this one, you get more from this one. So this is not wrong, or this is not right because this one says we would get more from this part. So we're going to cross that one off. That one's not right. Our last option is D. So D says, first it says larger. So this shape or this share is larger than this share. We know that because if we were really hungry, we would eat this part, right? Because it has more. Then it says this, the fourth has fewer shares. Does it have fewer? This has fewer shares than this one, right? This one you could share with more people. This one you could only share with 2. So it has fewer shares than this one. So our answer is going to be D, because our shape of the halves are larger than the fourths, and our halves have fewer shares than the fourths. So our answer is D. All right, everyone, I hope this helped you guys. And I hope you guys are having fun with these halves and fourths or quarters. Remember that a fourth is cut into 4 pieces because it has the word in its name, right? 4 fourths. And then, and I hope this hasn't been too tricky for you guys. I know you guys have been doing really well. So thanks for watching my video. Bye.